Hello and welcome to my review of the 2021 Imperial Shuttle set number 75302. This set is age 9 plus, and on the box you can see 3 minifigures are included, and this set is actually based off of the Death Star 2 kind of time period. So that explains the figure choice made with a Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, and an Imperial officer. This set costs $70 US, which is a little bit weird considering that the last Imperial shuttle was $100. But of course it makes sense because this whole 2021 lineup is kind of focused on being cheaper versions of what we used to have, just for those people on a budget. So I can understand the pricing on that. But of course there will be a lot of sacrifices which will have been made with this set, which we will get into in just a second. But first, let's look at the box. Firstly, I just want to mention I really like the design on this background here for this set. I think it looks really nice with the vivid blue star landscape, and then just adding some contrast with the explosion and the second Death Star in the background, and that just kind of signifies that this is from that era. Up here you have the minifigure Darth Vader 1:1 scale. On this side it's just more of this white brick built background thing. On the other side, quite the same thing. And on the back side, as usual, you can see all the features of the set there. And now let's get into the instruction manual. Weirdly enough, the instruction manual is a little bit elongated. It's just like the box. It's not quite as horizontal, if you would like. As usual, it's more like, as you can see here, there's 6 bags included. But yeah, it's more like with the steps oriented in a vertical position. So that might be something you might find interesting. Other than that, just a normal instruction manual with a total of 251 steps. Now let's get into the minifigures. And here are all of the minifigures of the set lined up. I would say it's a little bit disappointing that we only have 3 minifigures in this set in total. I mean, I would have expected at least 4. I mean, for $70, I think there should be at least 4 minifigures. But, you know, what can you do? There's 3 minifigures. I don't really know what else you would add. But nevertheless, more than 3 would be greatly appreciated, but that is not seen in the set. Anyway, first up is Darth Vader with his red lightsaber and his beautiful helmet. Darth Vader's helmet features this dual piece design with this bottom piece and of course the upper helmet piece going on top of that, which I find to be a really nice design for the helmet. At the back of the minifigure head, you don't have a second face, but rather more detail for Darth Vader with his like pale, corrupted face. I think it's really nice. I think LEGO did a good job at getting all the details in there. Same with the print. However, sadly, there are no shoulder/arm prints found on this minifigure, which is really sad to see since they were included before in, I believe, the throne room of the Death Star 2, but not included in this set, sadly, for some reason. Another thing of note about this Darth Vader figure is his cape, or rather the material of the cape, which is rather hard. It's one of the harder capes and not the softer capes, sadly. I really don't know why LEGO decided to go with this more, I guess, lazier approach. First off, with the missing printing on the arms. And secondly, with this harder material cape, which is, I don't know why you would just remove that from this minifigure. It was fine before with the softer cape. I actually have an example of a softer black cape here. You can see it's really malleable, and it wouldn't really, if you put it in one place, like maybe like so, it wouldn't stay in this position, in this form forever. It would just go back because it's so soft. But with this one, when you put it in a certain shape like this, let's say it's stuck in this position for a while, that might just stay like this for a while and deform the cape, which I just don't know why you would do this. But otherwise, still a good figure, just a little disappointing with the missing printing and the cape. Next is the Imperial officer, quite a nice minifigure, and also I believe this is a new print. I think they changed a little bit about this figure from its last kind of appearance in any other set. I'm pretty sure they changed a little bit about it, I'm not sure what, but it is apparently a slightly new figure. Nice little detail there with that mic, and no second face, but I mean that's fine with a figure like this in my opinion, and a nice blaster to finish it off. And finally, Luke Skywalker, the last minifigure of the set. He comes with his of course green lightsaber, this black outfit, of course, with back printing, no leg printing. I think it's okay on this figure, but I would have appreciated some leg printing, but I think it's okay. And of course, a nice addition with these handcuffs, so that just adds another play feature when you're like playing as if he's captured in the shuttle. You'll see how that fits in with the build, and Darth Vader is like escorting him with him handcuffed. I think that's a really good addition. And now, moving on to the set itself after I've built it. And here it is, the Imperial Shuttle. The set overall turned out a little bit smaller than I would have liked it to be. Of course, makes sense for the price tag of $70 instead of the $100, which the last iteration was. But overall, I think the set, yeah, it turned out a little bit small, smaller than I expected, but it does still have quite a bit of detail for the amount that you're paying for it. So now let's just go through it one by one, step by step. Here you see the cockpit. You can just open it like so. It's only held in by this one little contact point over there, which makes it maybe a little bit flimsy-ish. Not really. Probably won't have many problems with it. I just wanted to point it out. Nice design overall with this cockpit. Some stud shooters on the sides here. Yeah, once you open it up, there's space in there for one minifigure, basically to fit in the pilot, right? The officer in this case. Sadly, no printed piece to be seen here as a control panel. Not even a sticker anywhere here to show that. No, nothing. Which I find a little bit weird, disappointing. And overall, the top side of the entire shuttle looks amazing, in my opinion, at most parts, I would say. However, the bottom part of the cockpit especially is its biggest flaw, in my opinion. Here you can really see the cut costs. For some reason, it just turned out really bulky on this side here. It has this huge part here instead of being more white or at least black or gray, but being like in this same cockpit shape. The rest of the ship looks pretty nice, pretty neat, though. We even have this printed piece right there, which used to be a sticker on the last one, so that definitely is an improvement. That's nice to see. These wings, these outer wings, look a little bit bare bones because they're essentially just 2 layers thick. But overall, I think Lego did quite a good job at still getting the most out of the budget what they that they had for this for the outer wings and for the middle wing, which in my opinion is really nice. It has these gray stripes here, of course, some detailing right here at the connection point to cover it up a little bit. These yellow accents as these lights on all three of the wings. And yeah, this middle one, I think that's really nice though. I think they really got this middle center wing piece done really well, especially for the $70. That is probably one of the best parts of it. It even features these Technic parts right in the center of it, so that you can actually grab it at this point, which just adds a little bit of playability, a little bit of mobility, if you will. Moving to the back, I think they also got these engine parts really nicely done. I think they look really flush, really accurate with these blue pieces. Very nice to see. You have these little probably like cannons at the back. Over here, we also have these little cannons at the front. And of course the wings, by the way, are posable. Let's just get to the center part of the build now. Now, you see this little piece here. Basically, I love what Lego did here. It's like a lock for it to be able to, as I just did, lift up at the wing. But then, when you actually press this back, and at the same time, move the wing backwards, you get access to the center. Here you have enough space for 2 minifigures, right? So I'll just show you how that will look like. So here I've put in Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker in there, and there's enough space for 2 minifigures. As I said, you will you'll want to put Darth Vader in this seat instead of that one though, because of his cape. It needs a little bit more space, which there is for him on this seat. Then you also have just a little bit of space on the sides to put perhaps these lightsabers in there. They might not fit like perfectly in there, but right there actually it shows it right pretty well how you could just fit those lightsabers in there for extra storage, which is also nice. As you can see, I've also cuffed up Luke Skywalker there, which is a good play feature, as I said, with this extra piece that you get. And yeah, not much more to say about that. Pretty nice feature, in my opinion, this little interior, not just in the cockpit, but also in the center of the build, which is nice. But also, one more thing, my point about Darth Vader's cape being like this harder cape material, it kind of shows here. His cape, if you can see this, is bent into a weird shape when you put him down there. As expected, it's nothing out of the ordinary. However, because it is a hard cape, it is going to probably, after a while of him sitting there, turn into that shape, which is, well, quite unfortunate. In fact, I think they should have just kept his other cape, his softer cape, along with the prints, of course, but that's the main thing, in my opinion, for this feature to work perfectly. That would be a nice thing to have included. But otherwise, it's a very nice feature. Of course, you can close it up, and then it locks into place, and you can just leave the minifigures in there if you really want to. So not much to complain about there. And so overall, this build is not perfect. It has some flaws which come probably because of the lower price tag, especially this bottom part here. And one more thing that I'll get to in just a second. But overall, I would say the build is quite strong, quite nice for the money. So if you're looking for a cheaper version of the Imperial Shuttle, then this is a good version for you. However, just keep in mind, it's not as large, obviously, as the other Imperial Shuttles released before it. So just keep that in mind when buying. But yeah, other than that, just one more thing, one more flaw actually, that I want to point out. As you see here, there is landing gear on this thing. There are 2 of these parts back here, so nothing super fancy, because obviously the price tag is quite low for this build. But yeah, 2 of these here and 1 more here. And this is where the problem comes in for me. 2 at the back and 1 here means 3 contact points. Now, what you see here, what you see might happen is when you even slightly move it to one side, just a little bit, just give it a little tap, it sways from side to side, falls over. In my opinion, even while building, it was a big flaw. I mean, this just doesn't look particularly great. Maybe you would like this to be your display pose. But in my opinion, it's just not very good of Lego. Honestly, this is probably the worst part about it. Even worse than this bulk on the bottom of the cockpit, because this bulk, at least when you look at it from the top, it looks fine, you don't see anything. However, this is just an annoying feature. Maybe not for when you're just keeping it in one spot on display all the time, but whenever you want to play it, whenever you want to play with it, or anything other than just displaying, it will be quite annoying. So finally, to wrap things up, what do I think of the set? So, obviously it does have some glaring issues and flaws with the whole build, but that is to be expected for the lower price. I mean, you will have to account for such losses in some places if you are only willing to pay this amount of money, which makes sense. I think Lego could have done a little bit of a better job, maybe with the minifigures at least, on this set though, for the money. But other than that, it's pretty good still for the money, I would say. It is basically worth $70 in my opinion, maybe 60, 65 more than 70, but still I would say worth the 70 overall. So, decent set in my opinion. Not the greatest, not my favorite of all time, just decent. So finally, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, a like would be greatly appreciated. It helps me out a lot. And thank you so much for watching.